ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे। ओम श्री हयग्रीवाय नमः। ओम श्री वल्लभा समेत श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। So we were looking at the topic ghata-patAdi-prapanchasya mithyAtva-upapAdanam. So the tenability of this prapancha, this world, objective universe, you can say, which is made up of objects like pot and cloth, etc., that being only a false appearance. And for that, what is the anumana which was used? If you see the hetu for the anumana, see ghata-patAdi-prapanchasya mithyatvam is the sadhya, that is what is being established. And for that, what is the hetu or the reason? Vyavartamanatvam. Vyavartamanatvam was given as the hetu. Vyavartamanatvam means nivartamanatvam, that which goes away, that which is removed, or that which goes away from your consciousness or cognition, correct? Your awareness. Whatever goes away from your awareness is all mithya. That's what we are saying here. And what is the drishtanta? Rajju sarpavat. So the drishtanta given is Rajju sarpavat. So once we say this, the Purva Pakshi, in fact, lot of Purva Paksha Siddhanta we have seen in this already, but the last argument, which is also the first argument which they gave, is what they say, that you cannot say the Gatapata, etc., are like Rajju Sarpa. So the Dvaitins hold that even if the Pata cognition is replaced by Ghata cognition and the Pata goes away, correct, from your awareness, it is still Satyam only. That doesn't establish that it is Mithya and cannot be equated with Rajju Sarpa. Because in the Rajju Sarpa, they claim that at the same place, at the same time, the Sarpa cognition is negated by the Rajju cognition. Correct? The snake is negated by the rope. The snake cognition and rope cognition are there at the same place at the same time. One is negated by the other, or one is destroyed by the other. And that's how you can say that now snake is false. But that is not the case. Or you cannot compare it with Rajju Sarpa. So there is a Vaishamya in the Drishtanta, etc. They are talking about that. In fact, that last argument is there here also. We were looking at it already, I think. Yaduktam yasmin deshe yasmin kale yasya bhavaha tasmin deshe tasmin kale tasya abhavaha. So you have to see the abhava of the snake at the same place and same time where you saw the bhava of the snake, correct? The existence of the snake wherever you saw, and at whatever time you saw, at the same place and time you have to see the non-existence of the snake. Then only it is badaka, or it is negated, correct? Otherwise, it cannot be said that it is negated. It may not appear, but it is not negated, is their contention. But if you say like that, we cannot accept that, correct? That also is asat, because the badha is due to the abhava jnana alone. You cannot say the niyama cannot be there, and also the badha has to happen at the same place and same time, and all that also is not correct. So what we say is bhavasya bhavantarenapi badasya darshitatvat. We say one bhava can be negated by another bhava. You don't have to have the abhava of the whatever thing you saw already to establish or negate it. Also, that same place, same time, thing also we negate. He's giving another example where in the whatever, in twilight, in the evening, last evening or something, you saw a stamba or a sthanu, a pole, and mistook it for a purusha. But when you go there in the morning, you now know that it is only a pole. There was never any purusha there. In this case, the sthanu bhava itself negates the purusha bhava, correct? And also it is not at the same place and same time. I saw it last evening. The Brahma was seen last evening. The Brahma is there this morning. Okay. So Samakala and all that is not, there is no niyama like that. Kala niyama ayogat. Okay. And you cannot also claim that Brahma was always there. That Brahma cognition was replaced by so many other cognitions in between also. Okay. So all this niyama which you are saying that the same place, same time it has, you have to see the non-existence, etc., is not correct. Okay. So in this, finally, I think we saw this. What does our author is saying? Kincha badhya badaka bhave bhavatu nama vivadaha. Okay. Baditasya vyavritautu nasti vivadaha. So whether the badhya badaka bhava is there or not, with reference to that, there can be a debate. What is negated? What is the negator? In that we can have some discussion or debate. But whatever is negated, it goes away, correct? There is no debate. So, badhitasya vyavrittautu nasti vivadaha. And avyavrittau badhitatvasya eva asiddhe. So, if it does not go away, you cannot even say it is negated. Okay. So, avyavrittau badhitatvasya eva asiddhe. So, there will be any, if whatever is, if something is always cognized, you cannot even say that it is negated. Okay. So, it has to go away. Correct. Whatever is negated goes away. There is no debate in that. But whether that what is negated and what negated it, etc., there is some debate still. Okay. So that's what we are continuing now. So now having accepted this, further what tathacha vyavartamanatva matrasya katham aparamarthatva hetutvam ahetutvam. So now they are claiming that Vyavartamanatvam cannot be the hetu for Aparamarthatvam. In fact, the original Anumana which our Bellangonda gave is, he didn't even say it is Mithya, but he said Aparamartha, which is also a nice way of putting it. It is not Paramartha. Ghata-patAdi are not Paramartha because we do give it a Vyavaharika, whatever appearance appears is not Tucha at least, correct? So it is Vyavaharika, we can say. So he is only saying it is aparamartha, and how can you say that vyavartamanatvam is not a hetu for aparamarthatvam? Okay, because we say that vyavartamanatvam is good enough for saying something is not paramartha. And further he says what? Nahi vyavritvam amithya bhutam kwapi drishtam kapi drishtam. So also that which goes away, correct? And still it is paramartha, like that nothing is there, he say. So vyavritam amitya bhutam na kapi drishtam. So again double negative is there here. We have to understand this clearly. So whatever goes away is amitya, it is not false, like that nothing is there. That's what we say. Now once we say this, what the Purva Pakshi is coming back. Okay, it's interesting. He is now saying, you are talking about Vyavartamanatvam and all that. Now go and read your Shankara-Bhashya for the Taittiriya Upanishad. Okay, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Now the Satyapada, Jnanapada, Anantapada and all, Bhashyakara also has talked about it. In fact, there is a very beautiful Bhashya there about Visheshana and Lakshana, etc. And what is the real meaning of this Satya, Jnana, Anantam and all that. In that also, what your own Bhashyakara, what does he say? Okay, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahmeti Shruti Vyakhya Avasare. So when he is doing the Vyakhya, when he is commenting on that, at that time, what is he saying? Satya Padam Asatyat Vyavrittaparam. So the Satya Pada also has a negative meaning there. Understand that. To show that Brahman is not Asatyam. Correct? And similarly, what? Jnana Padam Jadat Vyavrittaparam. And Jnana Shabda also points out that Brahman is not Jada. And Ananta Padam Antavataha Vyavrittaparam. And Ananta means that which is not limited. So like this Vyavritti is talked about there. Okay. And Brahman being Vyavritta, still you say that Brahman is Paramartha. Correct. So, but your own Bhashyakara is talking about like this. So, Vyavritta Paramiti Pratipaditattvat Bhavadiyaihi eva Asatya Asatyat Vyavrittam Namitya Bhutam Brahma Drishtam iti Vachyam Na Vachyam. Okay. So, he is saying what? By you people only, Bhavadiyaihi eva Asatyat Vyavrittam Amitya Bhutam. So, that which is different, in fact, here we have to say Vyavrittam really is here separateness or difference is talked about, but not that Brahman itself is not cognized. But they are saying you are using the Vyavrita Pada there, and Brahman is different means that Brahman cognition, when you are cognizing something different from Brahman cognition also will go away. Like this also they claim. Okay. So Vyavritti is there. You are only saying Brahman is Vyavritta from Asatya, but it is still Amitya Bhutam. It is Paramartha also you say, correct? Because Brahma Vidapnoti Param is there. The Upanishad itself starts with Param, and then it says that Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Okay. So that being there, how can you maintain that that which is Vyavritta is still Amitya, or it is Paramarthika? How can you say? Means then what do we say here? You cannot say that why Tatra Vyavritta Padasya Bhinnartatva Bodhakatva. So there the Vyavritta Pada is not telling that Brahman is no more cognized or whatever. The Brahman cognition stops. In fact, it can never stop because Pratibodha Viditam Matam Amritatvam Hi Vindate. Kena Upanishad is very clear. Pratibodha Viditam. Bodham Bodham Prati. In each and every cognition, the invariable is Brahman. Correct? The Sadbuddhi Anuvartate eva. Bhashyakara also gives in the Nasato Vidyate Bhavaha, Nabhavo Vidyate Sataha Bhashya. You can go and see. That is also a beautiful Bhashya in the Bhagavad Gita 2:16. So the Sadbuddhi never goes away. That is the invariable. In fact, not only Sadbuddhi, the that Chit Buddhi also. Sat Chit Buddhi we have to say. Because anything we cognize, that consciousness is correct. So when you cognize this laptop consciousness is. When you cognize a phone consciousness is. When you cognize a table consciousness is. When you cognize a pot consciousness is. When you cognize the cloth consciousness is. In all these things, the pot, cloth, laptop, table, etc. are varying. Consciousness is the invariable. It never goes away. It can never go away also. That is Brahman. That is Pratibodha Viditam. Even when the knower also is not there, let us say, the knower known knowledge difference itself is gone in deep sleep, even then consciousness is correct. Upanishad itself says, Pashyan vai na pashyati. Seeing only it does not see anything. Hearing only it does not hear anything like that and all. The Swainjyoti Brahmanam also beautifully talks about that. And I slept. I am always there. And I am always there, and I am always this conscious being. Therefore, this there is no question of Vyavritatvam for I. Correct. Brahman also has to be known as I, correct? And that I never goes away. The negator can never be negated. We can negate everything, but the negator Swarupa can never be negated. That is always Satya. So therefore, anyway, we have no problem. All these words are only used to teach you something, that Brahman is different. Normally, you understand existence as something in space-time, correct? But Brahman exists beyond space-time. It transcends that. Similarly, awareness also, you think it goes and comes and all that, but this Brahman is always aware. Its awareness can never go away. That is its very Surupa, correct? And Anantam also, it is not like it can be displaced by any cognition of any one object. Okay? Because it is Sarva Karanam. The Karana cognition cannot go away just because you cognize a Karya. The pot cognition cannot replace the clay cognition if it is a clay pot, correct? But the pot cognition can be replaced by a shards cognition. The shard cognition can be replaced by the mud powder cognition and all that. One karya can replace another karya's cognition. But the karana anuvritti is always there. And Brahman is Jagat Karana. And it is the cause of even space and time, Bhashyakara says. To establish Brahman is Ananta, he says, Akashasyapi Kalasyapi Karanatvat. That is Brahman. It is the cause of everything, and its cognition can never go away. It is there in the form of yourself, in fact, and that's what one has to recognize. Anyway, so here it is just to show the Bhinnartatva Bodhakatva. That is the point here. Brahman is different from all these divided and limited objects, only to show that. And further what? Nahi Brahmanaha Badha Palabhutam Vyavrittim Vayam Vadamaha. So when we talk about the Vyavritti there, it is not that Brahman has been negated and then there is that Brahman's cognition is replaced by something else, correct? So the Brahman cognition goes away. It is not in that manner, we are not saying. The Brahman can never be negated by cognizing anything else. Okay? And that's what he is explaining further. What? Sarvatra anuvrittasya brahmanaha kutaschid vyavritti ayoga. So the Brahman can never go away. Like I pointed out already, consciousness is the invariable in each and every cognition. Therefore, and again the karya cognition only are replaced, which is nama rupa anyway, correct? Vacharambanam, vikaraha. But the karana, always anuvritti is there. The sadbuddhi anuvartate eva. Therefore, the vyavritti ayoga, Brahman is not something which can be said to be not cognized at any point in time in any cognition. Each and every cognition reveals this Brahman. Further what? Etena parichinnasya eva vyavartamanatva siddhihi na aparichinnasya iti siddham. Another point is what? That which is parichinna, that which is limited, that alone can go away. Correct? Brahman being Ananta, it can never go away. It is always available here and now and in each and every cognition. So only whatever is limited can go away. Vyavartamanatvam can be there. And therefore what? Tathacha ghatadayaha apramarthaha parichinnatvat Vyatirekena Brahmavaditi Prayogascha Suchitaha. And also what is implied here? Suchitaha means we can say that it is implied. What is implied? This gata, etc. objects, okay, pot, etc. objects, they are all not paramartha, they are not ultimately real. Why? Because they are limited. And the Vyatireka Drishtanta we are getting, unlike Brahman, which is unlimited, which is Ananta. So like this, with the Vyatireka Drishtanta also, we can give an Anumana. And again, what Ghatadinam Parichinnatvam cha Deshakritam Kalakritam Vastukritam iti Tredha asti. So this any Parichinnatvam we talk about in three ways, correct? The thing is limited by space and time and also by other objects. So by knowing one thing as one object, all other objects are not that object, correct? So by being one object only, it is limited because it is not all other objects. And by being in only one place at a particular time, also it is limited. Like this Deshakrita, Vastukrita, Kalakrita, Paricheda is there for all the objects in the objective world. And that's why when we say Anantatvam of Brahman, really means Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinnatvam. I think the Dvaitins do not accept Vastu Aparichinnatvam. They may accept Desha and Kala Aparichinnatvam for Brahman. If they also say Vastu Aparichinna means, then there is no Dvaita really. Understand that. All objects are really Brahman alone. So, how they handle the Anantatvam we have to see. But I think they don't accept the Vastu Aparichinna part. And so here, these three types of Parichinnatvam is there for all the objects. And further what? Tat Trividha Paricheda Rahityat Eva Anantam Brahma, and Brahman is Ananta. Why? Because it is Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinna. It doesn't have any limitation with reference to space, time, and objects. Brahman transcends space time itself, and all objects are nothing but Brahman only because Brahman is Sarva Karanam, and therefore all objects are just appearing in Brahman, and Brahman being the Karanam, the object consciousness or object cognition cannot displace Brahman. Okay, so it is basically not limited by any of these three factors, you can say. That's why it is Ananta. Therefore, what Antaha hi Parichedaha iti, and anything which is having a limit or an end, that is what we call as Paricheda, correct? That which is separate, that which is limited, has an end. Ghatadinam Parichinnatwadi परिच्छिन्नत्वात् व्यावर्तमानत्वं व्यावर्तमानत्वाच्च परिच्छिन्नत्वम् इति अन्योन्याश्रयः इति मा एवं. Okay, now the Purvapakshi comes and say this ghata pata etc. you are saying are parichinna. So by being parichinna only they are also, they go away. Vyavartamanatvam is there, nivartamanatvam, and because they have gone away only they are parichinna also. Means there is anyonya ashraya. This Anyonya Ashraya dosha will come if they say, means we don't accept it. It's not in that manner. Why? Ma evam. Why? Iha idanim ghataha nasti ghataha pataha na bhavati iti yatartha anubhava balat ghatasya desha kala vastu krita parichedaha santi iti avashyam abhyupeyam. Okay, so what we are saying is here, at this time, ghata is not there. By that anupalabdhi only, that ghata is limited by space and time is known, correct? And similarly, when you see ghata, it is not cloth, means from that only we know that it is also Vastu Parichinna. So by all this direct cognition, Yadartha Anubhava, correct? So it is Pratyaksha that Ghatadi are Desha Kala Vastu Parichinna, and therefore these limitations are there and it is experienced by everybody. You have to accept that. We don't need an Anumana cannot come and negate this experience, correct? So he explains that further. Why we have to accept that? Why? Because iha idanim ghataha asti iti anubhava baladeva deshantere kalantare ghataha nasti iti vastuantare ghatatvam nasti iti cha abhyupeyam. So when you say it is there here, then it may not have been there before. It will not be there later. All these things are there, correct? And since it is there here, it is not there somewhere else also is established. So from this anubhava only, deshantara and kalantara, this is not there. We know that. And also it is not, it is different from that only. We know that it is not something which is all objects, correct? By being one object, it is not another object. That also is established automatically. All these things one has to accept based on one's own experience. So tathacha sati, this being so, what nahi drishte anupapannam iti nyaya. So whatever is experienced by you, it is not there, you cannot say, correct? You cannot bring some anumana and say that it is not there. So drishte anupapannam you cannot say. Whatever is experienced, you can explain that. That's a different thing, but you cannot say that it cannot happen or how did it happen, etc. It happened, that's why you experienced, correct? So drishte anupapannam nahi na iti nyayat. So there is a nyaya is there. Whatever is pratyaksha cannot be denied by making some fancy inference. And also Bijankura sthale iva atrapi anyonya ashreha na drishtam or drishtaha iti. Okay. Also the Bijankura, the bij, the bija, the seed gives rise to the sapling, and the sapling becomes the plant, and again it gives rise to the seed. No, which came first and all you can argue. Okay, but you cannot say because there is a mutual dependence, it is not there. Correct. We are seeing it. So, because it is Anyonya Ashriya, it is not there, nobody can say that, correct? So, like that, here also, you are seeing that there is Vyavartamanatvam, Parichedam also is there, Parichinnatvam and Vyavartamanatvam are there, and therefore, because there is Anyonya Ashriya, it is not there, you cannot say. So, further what he says, Yadva Parichinnatva Vyavartamanatvayoho Aikartyam Evastu. Otherwise what we say is they both are same. They are synonyms. Parichinnatvam and Vyavartamanatvam are mean the same thing. If they mean the same thing, then there is no Anyanya Ashraya or Atma Ashraya or anything like that. Then also that dosha is not there. So we will consider it as same. Parichinnatvam is not different from being separate, correct? Or being displaced. So deshantarat, kalantarat, vastuantarat cha nivrittihi eva hi vastunaha parichedaha. So being separate from something which is there somewhere else or which was there at some other time, and being separate from some other object, being different or being uh, separate and not being there in other places, correct? Nivritti means it is not there in some other desha, it is not there at some other time, and it is not there as some other object. That is the nivritti we are talking about, which is the Vyavartamanatam. That alone is its separateness also, correct? Paricheda or limitation. That alone is its limitation. Therefore, let it be synonymous then. We don't mind. Okay, so in this context now, the Shruta Prakashikakara is making an interesting observation. So now he is taking that up. Okay. Yad atra uktam. Shuddha Prakashikayam. So in the Shuddha Prakashika, whatever is said with reference to this topic, what? Virodha Bada Hetukam Eva Vyavartamanatvam Mithyatva Sadhakam iti tadasat. So now Shuddha Prakashikakara is making a differentiation. He says Vyavartamanatvam can be there due to Virodha, means like Tamah Prakashavat. He will say that later, we will see that. Or even there is a Virodha between the rope cognition and the snake cognition. So, when one is removed or displaced due to opposition of the other, then it is mithya. The whatever was there originally which got displaced and which was opposed and negated, then that is false. Mithyatvam you can say. But there can also be Vyavartamanatam without Virodha, he says. Avirodha also there is Vyavartamanatam, he claims. Like ghata-pata. For them, ghata cognition replaced by pata cognition, there is no Virodha. But Vyavartamanatam is there. But there one is not mithya. Just because the ghata cognition got replaced by pata cognition, you cannot claim ghata is mithya. Because here, the Vyavartamanatam is not due to Virodha of ghata and pata cognition, is what they are claiming. Okay, so now they are making a differentiation between Virodha Bada Hetuka Vyavartamanatvam and Avirodha Hetuka Vyavartamanatvam. But once they say this, what we don't accept any differentiation like this. Why? Because that ahetukasya Vyavartamanatvasya kapi adarshana. No, we do not see anywhere when something is displaced by something else, that the whatever is displaced and whichever is the displacer, between them there is no virodha, like that we don't see anywhere. There is always virodha, we say. When one is displaced by the other, the displacer is opposed to the displaced. Otherwise, there cannot be any displacement itself. That is what we are claiming. Okay? If there is avirodha, there cannot be any displacement. Okay? And if there is virodha, there will always be displacement. That's what we are claiming. We are very clear. Wherever there is displacement, there is virodha. Wherever something is not displaced by another thing, then they both are not having any virodha, because they coexist. Correct? So here, now once we say this, what now they are saying, Tejaha tamasoho iva ghata-patayoho virodha abhavepi ghataha patat vyavrittaha drishyate. Like this he is claiming. He is saying now, see, there is no, they are differentiating between light and darkness and ghata and pata. Now light and darkness have virodha. Okay, tamah prakasha are viruddha swabhava. But ghata and pata are not virodha. They do not have viruddha swabhava between them. But still, ghata cognition is replaced by pata cognition. Correct? Vyavriti is there. Ghataha patat vyavrittaha. It is separate. One is displaced by the other. One cognition is displaced by the other. But that does not mean ghata is opposed to pata. That's what he is claiming. Like light and darkness. If you say that, we don't accept. Na vachyam, you cannot say that. Why? So if you say yadi avirodhepi vyavrittihi, so if vyavritti is there without any virodha, now what will be the implication of that? Kimiti. What will be there? Then mridaha sakashat ghataha vyavrittaha nasya. See, now he is claiming, in fact, these people, the Dvaitins claim what? They are all asatkaryavadi, correct? So we are all satkaryavadi. They are asatkaryavadi. They are saying pot is separate, pot is different from clay, correct? And but if they say that pot is different from clay and it is separate from clay, but without any virodha. But you cannot say that pot is opposed to clay. If pot is opposed to clay, pot itself will not exist, because pot's very existence is due to clay only. Correct? So when you take that's where the karana karya prakriya is very important for us. So the karana is not vyavritta just because the karya has come. Correct? And one is not opposed to the other. But they claim that karana and karya are different. But now they have to say that they are all, but they are not virodha also. There is no virodha between them. Like this, it will imply that. Avirodepi vyavrittihi means then you have to say there is a vyavritti between, there is no virodha between pot and clay, but there is a vyavritti is there. Correct? At least they are claiming there is a vyavritti, even though there is no virodha. So they are totally saying anything goes kind of thing it will become. Okay, if you go along with what they are saying, there can be vyavritti due to virodha, there can be vyavritti without virodha, and there can also be no virodha, and there can be avyavritti also, or there can be virodha and there can be avyavritti also. All these four things are possible. Now that's not, then there cannot be any vyavastha like that. Correct? So if you claim that avirodha also can cause vyavritti, being avirodha, then you cannot claim that the mrit and ghata are different. There has to be some virodha between them. Correct? In fact, we do not claim that, they are claiming that. Understand that. So finally, what we have to accept, see, tasmat yaha yasmat vyavrittaha iti tvaya uchyate tayoha asti eva virodaha vyavritti hetuhu. Because they are saying pot and clay are, there is some difference there. Correct? Vyavritti is there. Means there is also virodha is there. You cannot say that one is different from the other. One cognition is displaced by another cognition and still claim there is no virodha between them. Virodha you have to accept. Okay, if you don't accept virodha, there cannot be any separateness or displacement of one by the other, or even creation of something new they are claiming totally, where there is no real creation. But anyway, see, all these claims are going against each other. There won't be any vyavastha at all. If we go along with whatever they are saying, you cannot discern anything as this. Therefore, what we are saying, wherever one is displaced or separate from another, there virodha you have to accept, because you are accepting virodha in some cases, and again you cannot say there is no virodha in the other case. Okay. So once we say, they go back to the same thing. What is that? See, nacha sati ghata-patayoho virodhe ghatam pataha patam ghataha va badheta tamaha tejaha iva iti. So what they are saying is, what again he is saying, Tamas and Tejas are virodha. Okay, they are virodhis, and one negates the other. But you cannot say the same thing with reference to pot and cloth. If they are uh, if they are really opposed to each other, they have to negate each other also. But that is not the case, because according to him, you can cognize both of them at the same time. Okay, that's what he is hinting here. See, you cannot cognize light and darkness at the same time, at the same place, but pot and cloth you can cognize. Okay, that is his argument. Therefore, they are not opposed to each other. If they are opposed to each other, one will negate the other. You cannot cognize both of them together. Like even light and darkness. That's the argument the Purvapakshi is making here. If you say so, that is also not tenable. Why? Tamaha tejaha न इतिवत् घटः पटः न इति प्रतीत्या एव तद् विरोध सिद्धेः. So now we are saying the virodha, the Veda itself is virodha, we are saying. So even in the case of tamas and tejas, darkness is not light, light is not darkness. Correct? That itself is good enough to establish they are opposing each other. Similarly, pot is not cloth, cloth is not plot, that pot, that cognition itself, that pratiti itself is good enough that they both are opposed to each other. We establish virodha from Veda itself. Okay, this is not that, that is not this, is good enough to say that one is opposed to the other. So once we say this, what they cannot accept this. So he is saying, Nacha sa pratitihi na badya badaka bhavakrita kintu bhedakrita iti vachyam. So now what they are saying, no, no, it is not due to one negating the other. Okay. It is only one is different from the other. Difference is not negation, is what they are claiming. Okay. So bhedakrita iti they are saying, but we are saying even that you cannot say. Why? विधिः विदारण इति धात्वर्थस्य भेदस्य विदारणस्य कथं बाध्यबाधकभाव अतिरिक्तत्वम्. So the bhid dhatu itself is in the meaning of vidarana, correct? In the meaning of dividing or separating and all that, correct? When you divide or separate something, that leads to swarupa nasha only, and something which is having which is causing a swarupa nasha is basically virodha only, correct? One is opposed to the other. So vidhi vidarana iti dhatvartasya bhedasya vidaranasya katam badya badaka bhava atiriktam. It cannot be something other than badya badaka. We say that Veda itself brings badha also because of swarupa nasha. So that's what he is giving example. Kashtasya hi dahaka dahakaha agnihi va bhedakaha parashuha api badakaha eva. So now there is a wood, dry wood which is burnt by Agni. Now you can say Agni is the one which has destroyed the wood, correct? Similarly, Parashu also can destroy the wood by an axe also. You divide the wood and then it becomes small pieces and all that. It is no more an wooden log, correct? Its Swarupa is gone. Therefore, a wooden log can be either destroyed by fire or it can be destroyed by an axe also. An axe is basically dividing it, correct? So Veda only it is doing Vinati. Therefore, what? Also he is saying otherwise what Anyata Shatruhu Baditum Ichuhu. Okay, so one who is desirous of killing his enemy, a person, Purushaha, Khadgam na Svikurya, he will not go for a sword. Basically, a sword is killing the other person, means it is Swarupanasha. And how does it do? By cutting or dividing the other person, correct? So, this Veda is nothing but a form of Virodha only. Or Veda and Virodha are not separate or different. That's what we are maintaining. They are one and the same. And therefore, Veda itself implies Virodha. And what we say is correct. Therefore, okay, further, what do they say now? Nacha Nayam ghata-patayoho Vedaha Vidarana Rupaha Kintu Tad Bhinnaha Eva Iti Vachyam. So even then, what he is saying is the ghata-pata difference is not due to that you broke the ghata and then it became pata like that. It is not there, correct? They are different. That's all. There is no that you separated them. They were together and then you separated them, because of which now you can say that they have lost their Swarupa and all that. It is not like that. Ghata and Pata are different simply. It is not Vidarana Rupa, but he is saying. It is not because you separated them. They were already separate or something like that they are arguing now. Even that you can say. Why? Because what? Ghata-pata Vedaha Vidarana Bhinnaha ityatra Bhinna Shabda Pratipaditaha Vedaha Kim Rupaha. So now you are saying Ghata-pata are separate, correct? There is Veda. That separation is not due to, is not Vidarana. Vidarana also is basically separating two things, correct? Splitting. It is not due to any split. How do you say? And that split is separate from separation or Veda. Also, when you say that, this Bhinna Shabda Pratipaditaha Vedaha, the Veda which is revealed by the word Bhinna or separation or difference, what is its form or what Kim Rupa? What is its Surupa? Kim Vidaranam Uta Tad Bhinnaha. If it is it is same as Vidarana, it is something else. If you say it is same as Vidarana, we have no problem, correct? That's what we are discussing here. So, Adye Tadeva Vidaranam Prakrite api Astu. So, whatever is Prakrita here, whatever is under discussion, it is the same thing. We have no problem. But if you say Dvitiya, Dvitiye Anavastha, but if it is something other than being separate, this Veda, then what about that Veda itself? Like that, it will go into a Anavastha. That's what we are saying. There won't be any, you cannot establish. In fact, Veda itself cannot be established. Already we have argued that. Veda is not really a Vastu or anything which can be established. Veda is only Branta, Branti, basically. So anyway, here we are saying, if you say that Veda itself is separate from Vidarana, then what about that separate Veda? Again, you have to say it is separate from Vidarana. It will go into Anavastha. Therefore, what we are saying, nacha ghata-patayoho vedaha dvaidhi bhavaha iti vachyam. No, what we are saying is it is dvaidhi bhava they are saying. We, dvaidhi bhavaha means that which is, one is separate from the other because one has been separated from the other, like that. Okay. Dvidha means it has become two, correct? Two different things. That's what we are saying. The difference between Gata and Pata is because one is Gata, another is Pata, correct? They are two different things. That is the difference we are talking about. They have become two, correct? They are two different things basically. Vaidhi Bhava. Okay, now what we are asking is what Kim Ekadha Ekada Avasthitayoho Ghata-patayoho Dvaidhi Bhavaha Uda Dvida Sthitayoho. Now they were together and they became two different things. Or they were already two only? We are asking now. If you are saying Dvaidhi Bhava is Bheda, now Adhyaha, you cannot say Gata and Pata were one and then they became two because they are never one, correct? So Tayoho Ekada Avastitya Abhavat, Avastiti Abhavat. So they cannot be one. Then the Antyaha, okay, they are already separate. Then how what are you going to separate them then? You cannot separate. They are already separate. Why do you want to separate them? There is no Dvaidhi Bhava that way also. Correct? Na Antyaha Pishtasya Peshanam iti vad Arthasya Yuktatva. You cannot have a Dvaidhi Bhava of something which are already different. Okay, they are being made into different two. They have been Dvaidhi Bhava means basically they are made into two separate things. Something like that. That is the meaning. If already it is separate, if already something like Pishtasya Peshanam means what? You are grinding whatever is already ground, correct? If you are already having idli batter, you don't have to again grind it in a grinder. So Pishtasya Peshanam iti vat Arthasya Yuktatva. So the Dvaidhi Bhava meaning will not come. Because Dvaiti Bhava can only come for something which was together and which has now become two different things. So this is not possible in the case of Gata and Pata. Further, what kincha ayam Dvaiti Bhavopi Vidarana Kriya Nishpadhyaha eva, and even Dvaiti Bhava cannot be there without separating it, correct? Vidarana has to be there, splitting it. We have to split it to arrive at two different things. Even there, Vidarana only is there. So, Bheda and Vidarana are not something different. That is the meaning in which even the Dhatu is the same thing, correct? The Dhatu Pata also is giving the same meaning. So, what are you really trying to point out that Vidarana and Bheda or Bhinna are separate? Nobody can establish that. Okay. Therefore, what Gataha hi Vidaritaha san Dvaiti Bhavam apadyate. So, a part can be broken and then it can become two pieces. Correct. Being one, it has become now two pieces once you break it. Nacha gatapatayoho pritak avasthanam veda iti vachyam pritak padarthasya eva vedatvena atmashrayatvat atmashrayat. Also, once we say this, what now saying, no, Gata and Pata are in two different places, correct? So, pritak avasthana is there. They exist as two different things. Separate existence is there for Gata and Pata. And that is what we say is Veda. Now, Veda is Pritak and Veda are one and the same really. You cannot say Veda is existing in the Pritak Padartha. Pritak Padarthasya Vedatvena Atmashraya will come here. Pritak Avasthanam only is Veda really. Okay. So, therefore, this Veda and Pritak Padartha are something different and all you cannot say. And if you say that, again, it cannot be established. The Veda itself cannot be really established. That's what we already saw that. Therefore, Prithag Anavistitayoho Purusha Kundalayoho Veda Darshanachya. Also, you see a Purusha with a Kundala together, they are not separate. Being separate only is Veda. If you say also, there is no Niyama like that he is pointing out. So, Purusha and Kundala are seen together, but they are different. And also, Prithag Avastitayoho Gatayoho, okay, Veda Darshanachya, and there are two parts, but they are exactly similar. Okay, let us say. So Ghatatvam is still the same. Okay, they are not different in that way. Therefore, Nacha Inna Akaravatvam Ghatapatayoho Vedaha iti Vachyam. So once we say this, what he is saying is Binna Akaratvam has to be there. There has to be different forms. So Ghata is of one form and Pata is of another form. Therefore, they are different. Binna Akaratvam has to be there. So once he says that what, but already we have established Akara Bheda itself cannot be established really. Okay, Durnirupatva, tad Akara Bhedasyapi Durnirupatva. So you cannot say that they are Binna Akara, therefore there is Bheda. So if you say that what Nacha Akarayoho Anyonya Vaishamyam Eva Bhedaha iti Vachyam, further he is saying Akara the Anyonya Vaishamyam means they are different. The forms are different with each other. Anyonya Vaishamya is there. The pot form is different from cloth form. Cloth form is different from pot form. So they are Veda. Anyonya Vaishamya is there. They are not equal or same. There is a difference between each other. That itself is Veda. Once you say that what Kimidam Vaishamyam, Kim Veda Uta Virodaha Yadva Anyat. So whatever Vaishamya you are talking about, Vishama, it is separation or it is opposition or whatever, virodha, negation, correct? So, adye doshaha uktaha eva. So, if you say the Vaishamya is Veda, then lot of doshas are coming. You cannot establish that. And if Veda is taken as Virodha, then that is our Paksha. Okay, Dvitiye Tava Asmat Paksha Praveshaha Eva Tritiyam tu Asiddham Eva. There is no other option for you. Okay. Therefore, what? Tasmad Virodaha Eva Vedaha iti Kritva Nasti Binnayoho Avirodaha. Therefore, Virodha and Veda are not different. With that understanding, two different things, you cannot say I have no opposition. Two different things are opposed to each other only. That's what we have established. Therefore, there is nothing called Vyavartamanatvam with Avirodha. That's what we want to establish here. So, any Veda itself is Virodha only. That being the case, one thing replacing the other has that Vyavartamanatvam is due to only Virodha. And that means one negates the other, and therefore Vyavartamanatvam itself can be the Hetu for Aparamarthatvam. So that is established here. Rest of the things we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.